How's it going, YouTube? This is Copnut speaking. I hope you guys are well. First of all, this video technically was supposed to be my 1-year weight loss anniversary, so to speak. I started this program, or the series of videos, on April the 6th, 2012. Today is April the 2nd, 2013. But on the 4th of this month, Mr. Monthly Visitor comes along and throws my weight off at least 5 to 10 pounds more of bloatation. So I thought that I had no choice but to make it actually early. And it's a good thing that I did, because luckily I managed to lose about the weight that I gained during Ramadan. The process is still going Ramadan. I'm still managing to keep the weight in control. Or at least I'm trying to. In the previous video that I was in, a few videos before, which said regain, I was 173. Now I'm proud to say that I'm now 170.4 pounds, a loss of 3 pounds of the Ramadan regain. I'm very happy at this progress, and God willing, inshallah, more weight will have to be lost after that. It's a very interesting topic. We can say that 1 year has passed. You would expect this video to be very dramatic and have little balloons and little effects, but no. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go into all that. In this, throughout from April 6, 2012 to August 6, 2012 to August 2nd, 2013, I've managed to lose 67 pounds. Almost 70 pounds, but, well, in this month it's really hard to lose any weight, and I'm surprised that I managed to lose some weight at all, considering the fact that our eating hours is much later due to the sunset being so late. So, I'm still happy that I managed to get through it, and I'm going through it. What did I learn through this year? It's kind of hot. I basically learned how to get to know myself again. I also learned that there's always a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance to make better upon what you messed up at. There is really no, it's lost, it's all over, I can't do it, I failed. No, there's always a chance to do things, make things up and do things better. As long as you have the ability and the will and the belief and the positivity, and of course, the great support system that you have, then you can conquer anything. And this goes beyond weight loss itself. I also learned to get to know my body, how it loses, how it gains, how it acts during periods, how it acts when it's not on periods, how it acts when I have a little more sodium than I need, how it acts when I am dehydrated, what happens when I lift weights, or what happens when I do too much exercise or sometimes do too little exercise. It wasn't only about weight loss by itself. I was also getting to know how my body acted. I had to learn how to develop. One of the greatest things I've attained from this, is learning patience. In the past, I used to be, I gotta lose this weight fast. I've gotta lose it as fast as I can. And that obviously got me nowhere. It got me nowhere at all. But through this year, I've learned to accept the fact that weight loss is a slow, gradual process. After all, we didn't gain the weight overnight. So, I told myself as the pounds would creep down or reduce down, that cat always lands on feet, or be patient, have patience, Silky, you're doing all that you can, etc., etc. Only worry about the things you can control, and that's it. I can control how much I eat, I can control how much I don't eat, I can control how much I exercise, etc., etc. When I'm upset, I can't control the circumstances, but I can control how I react to them. Another great, wonderful thing that I learned, that is probably one of probably the best thing that I've learned from this experience of my 1 year, is that my greatest weakness was emotional eating. Throughout my entire childhood and even up till now, I'm much more in control. I don't think there's ever going to be a cure, but I do know that I am in control, and I say that with positivity, 100% positivity. As a child, I had a lot of issues, like most kids did. I mean, I went through bullying, I went through abuse, I went through exploitation, etc. Excuse me. Sorry, Adil, that was the phone. Could you please close the door? I'm sorry. I have this new Galaxy phone, and everything is so touchscreen that you just can't get the phone to turn off. It's really hard. I've learned that when you're stressed out, like for example, my son here. Come down and say hi, honey.
Hi. Push square.
Not yet, beta. We're still going. When he had hives, he got an allergic reaction. Like when I was little, I got the hives, and I had these strange blisters and mosquito bite looking marks all over my body. He had that a couple of days ago, and I freaked out and got him to the doctor. I was so upset, I was so freaked out that I wanted to cry. Nobody wants to see their kid with all those weird pustules on their body. It's just, it's terrible.
Mosquito.
And I do know,
Mosquito.
and I do know for this, that if it had been the old Silky from years ago, and had, like when my son was sick in the past, I would eat to comfort myself after we got home from the doctor. I would do that. But when I was at the doctor, I did not even think of food once. I didn't, which is an NSV as well. I didn't think about chowing down. I didn't think about drowning my sorrows in cheesy crackers or whatever, or fried shrimp or whatever. I didn't think of that. All I could think about was how to get my son comfortable and how to prevent this rash from ever happening again. That's all I could think of. And I feel that is a big achievement, because many of us people who battle with the battle of the bulge, many of us happen to be emotional eaters. We eat when we're happy, we eat when we're sad, but many of us happen to eat when we're sad. That's how I knew. When I was little and I was picked on a lot, I used to comfort myself by eating tacos and fries and fried chicken and buttermilk biscuits and stuff like that. I mean, just a minute! I used to eat. No, he's right here! I used to eat like that. I mean, that's just how I was. I was freaked out. But now, when I'm upset, I don't emotionally eat. I hardly ever do that. I mean, we all make slip-ups here and there, but I don't do it when I'm in an emotional state. I assure you on that one. I can bet you that with my life and his life combined. And I feel that is the greatest achievement on my 1-year regimen. And of course, I'll be making a 2nd-year video and a 3rd-year video, etc., depending how long I have to go. I mean, my own mom, who's resting now, she's having a bummed leg, a stiff leg, and I have to help her to the bathroom. I have to help. And pretty much any of her basic necessities, her exercising and stuff, and she's gotten much better now, thank goodness. So, about when I was close to graduating from college, associate's degree, my mom got into a car accident, and at that time I was like 230 something pounds or so at the time, and when she got into a car accident, and when I was helping her, when I would be eating, I'd be eating the things that I wasn't supposed to be eating. She'd order pizza or whatever, and instead of restraining myself, I ate with her too. But now, I don't do that anymore. Even when Mom had her operation, I said about 5-6 months back, on her uterus, I didn't even over-emotional eat there. And I think that's probably the greatest achievement ever on this diet. I mean, not diet, regimen. On eating healthy and learning to change your habits. Programming our mind to not want to not want to succumb to cravings when we're the most vulnerable. And I think that is the best, it is the greatest achievement that I've ever made, at least so far, when it comes to myself. I have other achievements in my life, of course, academically speaking, and with my son and my mother. But when it comes to myself as a human being, I'd have to say, bar none, that controlling my emotional eating is the greatest success I can tell you. For how can a person reduce their weight and gain muscle if they can't overcome that? Could you please close the door, honey? Anyway, so that that goes on to the next part of the video. I managed to lose 67 pounds in this video. I mean, in this video, like, I meant throughout the year. I feel extremely proud of that. I'm very happy that I had patience and I stuck out with it. Many people often quit their regimens or diet plans because they feel that their diet is going too slowly. And I'm using the diet word, I know I shouldn't use that word, but I'm using it as a symbol. Please forgive me. Their diet, because they feel it's going too slowly. The progress is going too slowly. But they fail to realize that slow progress is progress. Then majority of our diet or our regimen is going to go slowly. No one loses weight super fast. I mean, granted, the bigger you are, the quicker you'll lose. The quicker you lose, but most of those people, with the exception of MERNY, had to have skin surgery. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but still, there's always going to be some side effects or some downside to every upside, you could say. Me, as compared to most of the people out here, I was like probably comparatively smaller than most of the people out here. But still, I was pretty big. And I'm now considered by most people just chubby, which is alright. But it's not gonna, it's only a temporary point. I consider this like a journey. Wherever I'm at now, I feel it's like staying in an inn or a small hotel in a sense that I'm only staying here temporarily. Tomorrow, I'm out to my next part of the journey on the road. It's like staying at an inn, I-N-N, inn. And you know it's temporary, and you know you're going to go somewhere else on your journey.
I want a
I
big
feel-
computer. I want a big computer.
Take it. I feel very blessed to have
Yeah.
to
That
have
one
to
is big computer.
to have to
That
have
one is big
gone
computer.
through this process.
This one is.
Of course, honey.
Close.
Anyway, I
Mommy,
feel
do
very
you love you?
blessed at this because I can't tell you
Come to
how many times I've passed and
comment.
failed and went
Bye.
one step forward, two
Bye.
steps back. I cannot tell you how many times I've stressed and struggled and obsessed with
Mommy.
this and yet hardly had any result. I've been struggling with this since I was probably 8 years old. Ask my mom. I'll bring my mom out one day and she'll tell you that I've been I belong to the Pakistani Indian Society, and we are the most superficial motherfuckers out there. We are. Trust me, we are more inhumane than the Kardashians. I'd rather share a room with Kim Kardashian than with a Pakistani Indian because I know Kim Kardashian will be nicer to me. Please don't do that.
Mommy, pull it up.
Anyway,
Pull it.
When I was brought up and raised in Pakistan, or I should say they, not me, they had an overemphasis upon girls being skinny and fair-skinned.
On the computer.
Push the button, sweetie, for God's sake. There's no pause button here, sweetie. Anyway, too much overemphasis on being pale and pink and 90 pounds, anorexically thin. They worship girls who are so thin that their bones are showing on their wrists. Literally, just go there and take a look, or Google up Pakistani girls and you'll see their pictures. And anyone who is a little bit bigger and a little bit darker is considered the fat, ugly chick. If it's a guy, it's okay. He can be fat if he wants to, but if it's a girl, fuck that shit. You just can't do that. So anyway, I had a lot of negative influence in my head. I mean, I tried so hard to fit into their society by trying to reduce my weight, but the thing is, I hadn't addressed the issues that I was suffering from. I hadn't addressed my overeating problems, my over-emotional problems. I didn't consult those things. All I thought was lose the weight fast, and that's it. And that was a totally wrong thing to do. I mean, and also I had such a terrible support system. My mother's sister was a complete nut. All she kept saying was that you have to lose weight, or otherwise no one's going to love you if you're fat. That's basically all she ever said. I can even tell you what my own grandmother, my father's mother, said to me the one day before I got married. My dad was eating small bananas and stuff, and he had a bunch of peels. And he told me, okay, Rishmi, could you throw the peels away? And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I'm like holding all these banana peels, and I was about to throw it away. My grandma came in and saw me holding all the peels, and she thought I ate them. She didn't know I was just holding it for someone. And she's like, oh, you ate all those bananas? Girl, look how fat you are. No one likes a fat bride. It doesn't look good on anything. Wedding gowns don't look good on fat brides. I honestly don't understand why your husband wants to marry you. I personally don't see anything attractive in you. I mean, I don't understand why he wants to marry you, because if I were a guy, I wouldn't marry you. Whatever you know, that's all you're ever going to be, a worthless piece of trash. And it's a mercy that someone should want to marry you. And I was... I'm sorry. And that was basically what my grandma had said. And that's all I could ever remember. She was always a mean woman, basically. To all of us. Me in particular, as Daddy went against his wishes and married a woman that Grandma didn't like, which was my mom. Because my mom didn't give her any dowry when she got married. It's a big thing over there. I'll get into a separate video on that. Basically, because my mom came from a poor family, and naturally, whoever Mom gave birth to, Grandma didn't like us. Let's get back to topic. And you can understand from situations like, and after I got married, I mean, the kids were so mean. They were like, hey, fat. My grandma called you fatty. My grandma says you're fat. My nieces and nephews from my husband's side would tell me, just come to me and say, my grandma called you fat. My auntie thinks you're fat. My grandma says you're a pizza face. And I didn't even know how to respond to that. And when I told my ex-husband this, he's all like, they're kids, Rashmi. They don't know what they're saying. And it was just, you understand what I'm trying to say, right? I mean, at that time, I was 19, but according to some people, they thought I was 36 or 37 at the time. I have the pictures up on my Facebook. I didn't feel too comfortable putting them out here, but that's just how it is. And those type of things were big issues and trigger points to why I had such a problem with my weight. Of course, much of it was my own fault because I could put the fork down at any time, but I didn't. I'm not trying to justify anything, but I just thought you guys needed to know. Moving on. Long story short, was in Pakistan, got pregnant with him, came here to America, gave birth, when my husband finally got here. The minute he got his green card, disappeared. For 2 years, we couldn't find him. Didn't call, didn't write, didn't make any contact, not even to know how he was doing. And finally, when he did make an effort to come, out of the blue, he said that, oh, Rishmi, let's try and work things out. Rishmi, I want to be with you. I know I did things bad, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I shrugged. I'm like, you were gone for, almost 3 years. You never called. You never wished my son happy birthday. You never sent us any money. You never even bothered to ask how we were. Your relatives didn't even get in a word for you. And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. And I'm like, sorry? I graduated from college without you. I got my driver's license at a late age without you. My mom went through cancer without you. My father died. And you weren't there to... My dad died on my birthday, and you weren't there to hold me. My brother died. You weren't there to hold me. I mean, what the fuck can I say? So, I couldn't forgive him. I knew what he was, and I knew what he was going to do. So I didn't forgive him, and I'm like, we're getting a divorce, and that's it. So long story short, the divorce came and went. I'm a free woman. God. And during that process, April the 6th was a very hard time for me. But it was a miracle. I was watching a video, My 600-Pound Story. Melissa, her name was just Melissa. They called her by her name, Melissa. Look her up on YouTube, My 600-Pound Story, Melissa, and you'll see her story. She weighed over 600 pounds and talked about her 7-year process after the gastric bypass surgery. And basically, she was a very inspiring woman. I loved her story, and I'm like, if this lady can do this, why can't I? If she can be so brave to come out and tell her story, then there's no reason why I shouldn't. So that's when I decided that night, at 1 a.m. in the morning, I would do the same thing. So I made my very first video. And here I am today, 67 pounds lighter. And God willing, inshallah, going to be even less than that. But the things are, I have more in the present than I ever had in the past. In the past, I used to think that I don't need help. I can do this all by myself. And in some senses, that is true. I have to make the effort. I have to get myself on that treadmill. I have to lift those weights. I have to decide what goes in my mouth and what stays on the plate. I have to do that. But there were other people who helped me along the way. My mother, she helped me through this. My son always believed in me, even though he's too young to understand, but he loves me regardless of what I look like. And that's unconditional love. My friends on YouTube, particularly Bonnie and Andrea, you guys were there for me. For you too, particularly, and I thank you for that. I salute you.
It was me.
It had been a hard struggle in a sense. But it was a lot easier when I learned to accept the fact that this was a slow, gradual process, and that there were more mental aspects to change rather than physical. And once when I learned to value myself as a human being, then this process could properly start. I had my ups, I had my downs, I had my smiles, I had my frowns. I know this year, August 2013, up till the next August 2014, will be a monumental year for me. I graduate in October 2014, and I know I'm going to look excellent. I'll even show you guys the pictures. I'll even show you guys the dress I'm going to wear, and I dream of wearing a pretty ball gown. I know you're technically not supposed to wear a ball gown with your graduation robe and cap, but hey, I'm not conventional. I don't follow rules. I'm not bound to society. That's why most Pakistani relatives can't stand me. They say, "Oh, she's so weird. She's so weird." But I like being weird and different. I feel it is a blessing to be blessed with individuality and to think with your own mind, rather than conform to the norms of society. I know my cousins have been trying to contact me. Some of my uncles and aunts, they have seen my pictures from Facebook. Through others, of course. They've been saying all sorts of these nice, sweet, flattering things about me. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. You want to be my friend again. You want to get in my good books. Many of them are asking how I did it, even though they already know how I did it. But I don't really give them much of an answer. I haven't spoken to them. When I needed them the most, they weren't there. And now, if you were absent during my struggle, don't expect to be there during my victory. Will Smith said that. People treat me differently. since we're Muslim and we're in a bit of an Islamic society, we don't technically, I can't say that men have noticed me more, although some of them have, but in the sense through their parents. Because men don't come up, for Muslim women, men don't come up to you. Their parents come up to you. And their parents say, oh, so has anyone asked you to get you married off? Are you looking to get married? Blah, 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 blah. And basically my answer would be, Auntie, Uncle, right now I'm doing my bachelor's in criminal justice and I'm going off to master's. I'd like to complete my education before I get into the marriage market. And they'd be like, oh, okay, but don't worry, keep us in mind, blah, 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 and basically all that stuff. So basically, yeah, men have been noticing me more. But their parents have to come up. Try to understand. Islamic culture or Hindu culture or Middle Eastern culture is very different from Western culture. I mean, a lot of painful memories have pushed me forward to this. Mom often says you are run on negativity. She doesn't understand that it is through negativity that I have pushed forward. It is through negativity that I've learned to take my own success as a sword and cut off all the heads of people who ever told me you can't do it. But she's right in a sense. Too much consumption of negativity can kill you eventually. So I have to learn to chill. I need to chill and stop trying to be right all the time, even though at times you can't always be right, because even though you might be right, but it pisses people off. Because people like to see humanity, not perfection. People like to see progress and not perfection because it gets kind of annoying. That's just how we are. Like, if I'm right, no one remembers. If I'm wrong, nobody forgets. The irony of life, but that's just how it is. It's been a very good, eventful year. I've learned more about myself than anything. I've learned to value myself as a person. I've learned to love myself as a person. I know I will get to my goal. And I know, even though my next anniversary will be August 6, 2014, but I actually planned that October 2014 would be a monumental time because of my graduation. Because I was studying bachelor's in Pakistan when I was like 19. The grading system's different there. That's why most of us graduate early. We don't have a 12th and 11th grade. After 10th grade is high school, you're shipped off to college. Doesn't work like that over here. And I made the big mistake of getting married early and thinking that I would be able to continue my education and be married. It didn't happen. They didn't let me. I'd rather not go too deep into that, but it just didn't happen. My ex was just a fucking loser. Sorry. Didn't mean to swear in front of the boy. So, after that, all the mistakes that I made, even though I was 19, and I don't consider it like a defamation of character mistake, but the errors and the blunders and the boo-boos that I made, I feel that I've learned a lot from them now. And the funny thing of it is that I was 19 then, and I felt older then. I'm 26 now, and I feel younger. Even my friends, when they said they see me with my picture of Adil and me at summer camp, they would say, my God, who would think that you were a mother of some child? We thought you were his sister. That's because he and I have similar faces. Hey, Adil, want to smile for the camera?
Okay.
Smile.
Cheese.
Now come a little closer. Come on. Closer. Come here. Smile. We're like, some people would call us twins, but he's my son, he's my son, not my brother, even though he's like a brother to me, because I've never had the interaction of brothers and sisters. The two brothers I had were special needs kids and couldn't talk, and I was the only normal kid. Somewhat normal. I was the only cognitive child, and I didn't develop those feelings or those understandings or emotions of siblings. So that's why sometimes it's a little difficult for me to feel what other people feel. So as him, I feel like I'm learning new things, like how it is to have a sibling, even though he's my son. I hope to have another son one day, and he can be my second brother, and then a girl, and then it can be like my son, my two brothers, and myself, in that sense. I will eventually. Some people say, Rishmi, why can't you just get married now? And I'm like, well, when I'm married, it's hard. I'm not gonna say for certainty, but I know it's gonna be difficult to continue a weight loss regimen because you're gonna have so many other responsibilities of children and husband and taking care of the household, and I don't know who it's gonna be. The guy's gonna be, or if he has his family living with him, because in Indian Pakistani culture, we live with our parents. We don't.
Mommy, come on, fix it.
All right. We basically don't, unless if there's a certain problem, we basically don't leave our parents' house. We're always with our parents. And then we take care of them. Their house becomes our house. It's not their house anymore, it's ours. And they're living under us. And we take care of them and we rear them and almost nurture them in a sense. Unless if they have a special sickness that only professionals have to deal with, we have to take them to nursing homes. But if there is no other particular element, then they stay with us. We don't live separately unless if there's a certain reason. And it's difficult in a Eastern in-laws environment. It's difficult. I mean, the mother-in-law is really overbearing and really demanding. The father-in-law is usually passive. The sister-in-laws are, I can't think of. I don't want to say anything about them, but it gets in your way. It doesn't allow you to be as free as you used to be. You can't leave the house anytime you'd like to. You have to ask permission to leave the house. You have to wait for a yes or a no, basically. And then after that, you might get expected or pregnant, and then that gets in the way of wanting you to lose weight, because you can't basically force yourself to lose weight. You have to preserve yourself for your child, but not overeat, of course. Not overeat at all. So basically that's why I felt that it would be important for me to lose all my weight before I actually walked down the aisle, because it would save me from a lot of difficulties and troubles later on. Pakistani Indian people are very critical. They don't care for the inside. They only care for the package. And as terrible as that may seem, that is true. That's why I've always had a hard time fitting into their society, because I prefer to look beyond.
Mommy,
They don't. Sometimes I find that I feel I have to conform in order to survive. But that's just how it is. Every family, every person, every culture has their own set of ups and downs and problems and disadvantages. We all do. But I feel so grateful. I feel like I've learned so much. I feel like I've learned so much.
Where's my CD?
I feel so blessed.
Where's my CD?
And I feel like I've
Where's
learned
my CD?
Try checking under the crib. I feel like I've learned so much about myself. It's not self-arrogance. It's not self-vanity. Although some people may think it is, but it's not. Before you take care of anyone else, you have to take care of yourself. Otherwise, no one else, you won't be able to help anyone else. It's like being on an airplane when they say, when those masks come down and there's turbulence, they're like, first secure the mask over yourself and then the person sitting next to you.
Where's my CD?
They basically don't know. They basically do that because if they don't do that, they won't be able to help the child sitting next to them. That's basically all I had to say. There is so much more that I want to say. But this is not going to be the last video I ever make regarding my anniversaries. Year 2 is going to end eventually, and then we'll be on to beginning of year 3. And I'll have much more to say. I'll have another interest. I'll go through a lot of things. And then I will be, God willing, inshallah, I'll be able to express with all you guys and girls. from April 6, 2012 to April 2nd. I'm sorry, from August 6, 2012 to August 2nd, 2013. A total of 67 pounds lost. Thank you so much, all of you guys, for believing in me, helping me, pushing me, well, gently, not harshly, giving me suggestions, giving me advice, patting my shoulder when I was sad, lifting me up when I was happy. Year 2 has come now, and it will be a wonderful year. Thank you so much for everything.